Multi-purpose tokens fix a sort of technical limitation with the XRP ledger. Currently, the XRP ledger has several different types of tokens. XRP is its own thing that follows its own rules. It has finite, predefined divisibility.
Hey everyone, so we've been diving deep into something absolutely fascinating, the tokenization happening on the XRP ledger. And let me tell you, the numbers are getting pretty exciting. Right now, we're looking at over $355 million. Actually, we're almost hitting $356 million in value on the network. That's a solid 9.24% jump in just the last 30 days alone. Pretty impressive, right? But here's what's really catching my attention. RWA holders are starting to climb too. We're seeing about a 25.4% increase over the past month. And stablecoin holders, they're growing as well. Now, here's the thing that really gets me excited. It's this tokenized value that's been building up on the XRP ledger. We saw this massive addition back in what the data says is July, but it was really more like August when we actually started seeing it appear. And this is where it gets interesting, guys. There's so much happening behind the scenes that we're not even aware of. That value that suddenly appeared, it was actually there since the beginning of July. It just wasn't being tracked until late August. So here's the million-dollar question. How much value is actually tied to the XRP ledger right now? Honestly, we don't know. And we probably never will know the exact number in real time. We're not going to get those live updates showing us exactly how much money is flowing through the XRP ledger at any given moment. But here's my bold prediction. I think we're going to see billions, maybe even trillions of dollars on the XRP ledger within the next 12 months. 1 year from now, these networks could be handling absolutely massive amounts of value. Now, when we talk about XRP being worth trillions, and I know that sounds crazy, but the biggest indicator that networks like the XRP ledger will reach those levels comes down to one thing: tokenization.
Speaking of which, we just got some huge news from the staff software engineer at Ripple XDev. Check this out. Small Tuesday surprise, XRP LedgerX LS standards with a fresh new look. This was dropped on September 9th, but here's the real game changer we need to talk about. Multi-purpose tokens. This is the amendment we've all been waiting for, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this could be the most important development we have right in front of us. Why? Because it's not just about XRP or the network itself. It's about what this means for tokenized assets. This is huge. Now, I know some of you might remember those videos from Apex back in 2024, and it's totally fine if you don't. I've got them right here, and we're going to revisit them because I really want you to understand just how massive this multi-purpose token amendment is going to be. Here's what we're looking at. Good morning, crypto. Must watch. Ripple launching multi-purpose tokens on XRP Ledger in Q3 2024. So, what exactly do these multi-purpose tokens bring to the table? Let me break down the key capabilities. First, you get access to on-chain real-time data. Second, there's incredible flexibility to adapt automatically as needed. Third, we're talking about freezing, clawbacks, and even non-transferable tokens. But here's where it gets really exciting. The use cases. We're looking at treasury bonds, airline credits, collectibles, university certificates, and that's just scratching the surface. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what Jazzy Cooper is about to say. She's the head of DeFi products at Ripple.
Different potential advancements in XRP Ledger technology to better support real-world assets. So one example is, a token type made specifically for RWA called multi-purpose tokens that allows for storage of metadata directly with the asset. There's a few other advantages in terms of scalability, flexibility as well, but we're really trying to increase the suitability for the XRP ledger for this use case to really lower the barrier to entry for these institutions.
And why does that matter so much? Because we're not just talking about these institutions bringing billions of dollars. No. These institutional players are going to bring trillions of dollars to the table. But here's the key. We get there through this MPT amendment. Now, if you want to track this in real time and see the actual voting process, you can head over to xrpscan.com. They've got the MPT tokens listed there, and right now it shows currently not enabled. As of now, we've got 28 out of 35 votes, and we need to hit that threshold. So we're not quite there yet. But honestly, I think we're going to see this get approved very soon. This has been in the voting process for quite a while now, so we're all just watching and waiting. And trust me, we're watching closely because of all the incredible capabilities this is going to unlock. Actually, let me take you back to the beginning of this year, January 18th to be exact. We got this amazing breakdown from David Schwartz via XRP Drops, where he really explains what MPTs can do for the XRP ledger. Listen to this.
Multi-purpose tokens fix a sort of technical limitation with the XRP ledger. Currently, the XRP ledger has several different types of tokens. XRP is its own thing that follows its own rules. It has finite, predefined divisibility. There are NFTs, which work well for like non-fungible tokens, that represent artwork or things like that. There's issued assets, which work great for money. They're great for like things that are infinitely divisible and where the quantity is the only thing you care about, right? If I want to know how many dollars or yen you have, I just want a number. But there is a sort of intermediate zone of assets that are not well served by any of those asset types. A good example might be concert tickets. If you modeled concert tickets as NFTs, you're going to have to create thousands of NFTs for every concert, and it's kind of hard to understand that they're all tickets to the same concert. If you did them as an issued asset, as a fungible asset, well, what if somebody gets 0.9975 of a ticket? It shows up at the venue. You're probably going to have to let them in, but what if like 1,000 people all have 0.9? What if some guy just keeps buying fractions of tickets just to like go? So you don't want them to be modeled by any of the existing token standards on the XRP ledger. What this multi-purpose token standard has is precisely defined divisibility, and the token class is an object. So for example, if they're all tickets to the same concert, you can actually have an object with an identity that says these are all tickets to the same concert. Whatever they are, if they're dollars and cents or yen or whatever they represent, you can actually have a data object on the ledger that explains what that is. And that's currently not possible with any of the current token standards on the XRP ledger.
This is exactly why this amendment is so crucial for the future of the XRP ledger. Look, I get it. We already have a massive amount of money tied to the ledger right now. But compared to how huge the tokenization world is becoming, what we have now is just a tiny fraction of what's coming. Now, here's where things get really exciting. They already have real use cases lined up for when this MPT amendment goes live. Check out this massive update from Ripple XDev. This is huge, guys. Here's how Fortstock 1 is using the XRP ledger's multi-purpose token standard to turn idle warehouse inventory into actual usable collateral. And get this, they're helping close a $2.5 to $5 trillion trade finance gap. Think about that for a second. $2.5 to $5 trillion. That's not pocket change we're talking about here. So what's Fortstock 1 doing exactly? They're turning warehouse receipts into programmable financial assets to bridge physical goods with digital finance. But here's the thing, Fortstock 1 needs more than just basic tokenization. They need MPTs. And here's why. The XRP ledger's multi-purpose tokens are a complete breakthrough for this kind of use case. First, you can embed legally relevant metadata, warrant numbers, expiry dates, receipt hashes, directly on-chain. Second, you can capture the entire lifecycle of an asset, from issuance all the way to settlement. And here's the best part, no reliance on those complex external contracts. Fortstock 1 actually tested this earlier this month, and the results were incredible. They minted a warehouse receipt MPT on the XRP ledger DevNet, issued the token with detailed memo fields, transferred it to a creditor wallet for collateral, then burned it when returned to close the lifecycle.
Everything was executed and traceable right on chain. But this unlocks so much more than just digital documentation. It unlocks liquidity. These tokenized warehouse receipts can connect to on-chain liquidity, like Rust. For borrowers, this means real-time financing based on their actual inventory, not their credit history.
For lenders, it means transparent tokens backed by real physical goods. The result? Businesses in emerging markets can finally close that trade finance gap. And the XRP ledger provides the compliance-first, fee-efficient infrastructure to scale this globally. So what's next for Fortstock 1? They're planning to expand MPT use to debt instruments, loan tranches, and performance tokens. They want to partner with real warehouses and regulated lenders to build programmable finance on actual assets, not speculation. One warehouse at a time. When I think about what MPTs can really do, guys, this could unlock access to trillions and trillions of dollars worth of real-world assets. Fortstock is honestly one of the only projects I see right now around the XRP ledger that's really laser-focused on trade finance, and I absolutely love seeing this. If you know me, you know I've been following XDC because they've been locked in on trade finance for ages. That $2.5 to $5 trillion gap absolutely needs to be filled, and projects like Fortstock coming to the XRP ledger, already integrated with the multi-purpose token standard. This really shows us exactly what this standard is going to do for the ledger. But wait, there's more. The World Economic Forum recently highlighted the XRP ledger as a leading network for debt tokenization. They're acknowledging its potential to digitize real-world assets while boosting transparency and efficiency. This is happening at the perfect time when the MPT standard could potentially be added to the XRP ledger,
which will also open the door for debt instruments to get integrated. Because what Fortstock is doing here, tapping into debt instruments using the MPT standard, that's exactly what a lot of major companies and institutions are going to want to do. Having that endorsement from the World Economic Forum definitely highlights just how efficient this whole system is. And on top of all this, we circle back to that recent announcement from Ripple, the article they were talking about through the custody platform they created. Here's the mind-blowing part. They said that by 2030, 10% of global assets are expected to be tokenized. We touched on this earlier, but let me really break this down for you. What's absolutely crazy is that Ripple already has a complete foundation in place for this. But here's what blows my mind. People still don't see how XRP fits into this massive plan. Think about it. Everything is integrated with the XRP ledger. Ripple Custody is directly integrated with the XRP ledger, which means any of their customers can mint, burn, and manage stablecoins right on the network. And here's the thing that really gets me. Ripple Custody's main focus is built around stablecoins and tokenized assets. If you actually go to the Ripple Custody website, you'll see tokenization right at the top. And it takes you to an announcement about the XRP ledger being the home for tokenization. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it, because everyone looks at the stablecoin market and they're like, oh, well, this replaces XRP. We don't even need XRP anymore. No, it supports XRP. Everything Ripple has been doing supports XRP. And when we look at these markets, RISXRP posted that the tokenization of global liquid assets is estimated to be a $16 trillion market. Let that sink in for a second. But here's the kicker. $16 trillion is just the starting point. Right now, when we look at tokenized real-world assets on public networks, we've got about $4 billion tied to them. The entire tokenization market is sitting at around $30 billion. Guys, we are just getting started. This is literally just the beginning. This value is going to rise drastically. We're talking about 10 times growth, 100 times growth, even 1,000 times growth from where we are today. This is going to lead to networks that dominate this space being worth trillions of dollars. And here's what I don't understand. People can't wrap their heads around XRP having a $1 trillion market cap, but we're totally fine justifying Bitcoin having a $2+ trillion market cap at a time when we're literally witnessing billions of dollars getting tokenized. That makes no sense to me. And here's the thing. This tokenized value isn't just going to sit on-chain doing nothing. People are going to trade it 24/7, 365 days a year. They're going to borrow against it, lend it out,
Use cases like what we just saw with Fortstock. And that's just one example. This is just one of over 1,000 possible use cases on these networks. This is exactly why when players like Larry Fink from BlackRock tell us that everything is going to be tokenized, it's already happening. We have stocks getting tokenized, US treasuries getting tokenized, global bonds getting tokenized. This is seriously just the beginning. XRP will be worth $1 trillion in market cap. I think that's something we should already know is inevitable.
But here's the thing, $1 trillion isn't the stopping point. That's just the beginning. We are still so early in this market, and the value tied to these networks is proof of that. With more amendments like the MPT standard launching on the XRP ledger, it shows us that this network is going to constantly evolve. We're going to keep seeing upgrades that break down barriers to entry from the institutional side. And that's the path to trillions of dollars living on the XRP ledger. I am so excited about this. I'm definitely locked in, and I think everyone should be paying attention to this MPT announcement, because we're just waiting patiently for it to happen. We're already seeing it being used in demo mode, and I think that's proof we'll start seeing the MPT standard added to the XRP ledger within the next couple of months. And once that happens, this is going to wake up the XRP ledger in a massive way, with tokenized real-world assets flooding onto it. I really believe that, and this is definitely something I'm going to keep a close eye on. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, definitely smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of these updates.